Welcome to the Fan2Fan Podcast 5 Minute Frights, wherein, give or take 5 minutes, we'll try to share something creepy, kooky, mysterious, spooky, something fun and frightful that you can add to your to-watch queue as we all get ready for Halloween season. My name is Bernie Gonzalez, and on this episode, we're talking to Fan2Fan All-Stars Allan and Rebecca, and Allan shares one of his scary favorites. Allan, take it away.
This tradition started, I was 16 years old, junior year of high school, in Susie DiGrigorio's basement at a makeout party. Playing in the background was The Shining.
The Shining, a masterpiece of modern horror, directed by Stanley Kubrick. Starring Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall. Rated.
I was ignoring the girl that I was making out with to the point that she left like some of the dirtiest, darkest hickeys I've ever had in my life, to the point that my older cousin, convinced me that they were never going to go away. My eyes were focused on The Shining. I had never seen it before. I didn't know that it existed. And just the wall of blood and the hotel and the ghosts. For me, The Shining is the scariest movie that exists. If you're going to tell me that there is another person that could build to madness in the way that Jack Nicholson did or has since, please. I would love it if you guys had some comparisons of or if you can think of someone who gave her a performance like Jack. And I know that the reviews on The Shining were mixed and people did not appreciate it. But I know that as time has gone on, it's become more than a cult classic. It's become something that people have revisited and watched over and over again. And people see secret messages. They reference it. Ready Player One did that whole massive scene to it
so
together.
Yep.
I have a hard time coming up with a scenario where you're trapped in a hotel, so fucking haunted that it's basically alive and
infects your mind.
Right. And you have Shelley Duvall just doing all the heavy lifting in this movie. Well, Jack Nicholson did the great work, the subtle work building up to becoming the man that the Overlook has always needed to finish its mission.
But Shelley was really the one that made this movie.
Right. Mm-hmm. I mean, and I guess there's all these stories about Kubrick, keeping her on edge and scaring the shit out of her and making her nervous and crazy,
torturing her through the whole thing.
She comes off on the screen,
shrilly and long, and it's just
it's terrible that he did these things, and I wish he didn't. But at the same time, would we have what we have? Maybe that makes me terrible. I don't know.
Rebecca wants to relive. She wants to role play the scene where Jack's going up the stairs backwards when she's got the bat and he's like, "Give me the bat," and she just wants to cock me on the head.
Darling, that light of my life.
When you mentioned the movies earlier, Allan, what movies are in comparison? The only thing, and this is going to be a stretch, few movies that get the descent into madness really well done. That's where in The Shining it works. We're seeing it manifest. Dude's losing his mind and the Overlook is just closing in on him, not on them. Shelley is still kind of keeping an anchor to reality to say, my husband has issues with alcoholism, obviously issues with domestic abuse, issues with parental abuse. There's a lot of stuff going on here. You watch it now, you see all of that stuff.
Oh, I think that everybody that got drawn in, it's such a tight cast, right? there are little parts for other people, but it's just Jack, it's Shelley Duvall, it's Danny Lloyd, and it's Gavin Carruthers. Mm-hmm. And you kind of
maybe a CB radio operator for all of 30 seconds.
Yeah.
That's the isolation, right? The cast is small. There's nowhere to go. There's no one that they could immediately call because we're not putting them on the screen. You get the people who were the Overlook admin people who meet him for the first time after the interview. They're on the screen for 5 minutes. That's it.
I think so many movies, especially in the horror genre, if you do it right and you do it well, they're going to be the best ones when they have this small cast, because when you have so few people to rely on to make a movie what it is, especially again with horror and where you have to feel that like scared feeling, that comes into play, and like they do all this heavy lifting. And if they can pull it off, that's where these movies become great movies, is because they've done so much and they carry so much. Having this little cast on my episode, I talked about A Quiet Place, like small groupings of people focus on that. They have to do a really good job. They're just required to, because there's no one else to take on any of the burden. The Shining was one of those movies where it was up to mostly 3 people most of the time, kind of a 4th person, and they delivered.
Yeah, and I mean, I just want to give a quick like shout out to anybody listening who's a Shining fan, like Joe Turkel as Lloyd, the bartender, who's really, let's face it, like, I mean, he's cast as the devil. He looks devil. And then Philip Stone is Grady, is Delbert Grady. You know, when he has him in the bathroom and he like sort of just turns the conversation and it gets incredibly creepy. Like he's just wiping off Jack's jacket, and then the next thing you know, he's in full control of the conversation, and he's telling Jack what needs to be done. And now it's becoming clear to you, the audience member, Jack is going to go fucking nuts.